Okay, here we go again. Apparently, we are having Wi-Fi problems again. We figured out it's our satellite. We're on Starlink, and we have a lot of obstructions, and we're not sure if they're satellites in the air that are the obstructions or what they are. But we definitely have obstructions. I hope we're hung with me there. But anyway, we're back. We're definitely not. We're going to watch our topics too, because that could have shut us down. But I don't think that's it. I think it's the Wi-Fi.
I don't know.
I think it's the Wi-Fi
hard
signal.
it's so hard to like work this long.
So we need a roof mount to put our satellite up on the roof. We have our satellite that we have is for RVs.
Yeah, and we have a
because they didn't have Starlink out here
so we
yet.
went to order up. That's what I was going to look up. Was
Is that what you were doing while we were trying to?
I think we kind of forgot about that problem that we were having. So, but G.I. Jose was talking about they can't sign their name, and that was one of the things that the ladies I talked to were saying. They're like, well, they teach you to sign your name, but you really got to practice it. And I'm like thinking, geez, this has gotten really bad. I mean,
it's like G.I. Jose said, why do you have to sign your name if you why do they ask you to sign documents like driver's license or whatever if they don't teach you how to do a signature?
Yeah. I mean, you
I don't know if that's what you just said. I was
well,
is that what you just said?
Well, does it cause a problem when you go to vote? You know, I mean, you really look down the line at a lot of these little idiosyncrasies, and you're thinking, what have we done? So we're hoping we are now. I mean, we've definitely got an A team that this ought to be
an A team. Oh, that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? We have an A team in place. Is that a song? That's the show?
Yeah, I think so.
That might, love it when a plan comes together. That how it goes.
Yeah, that was.
I never watched it. I didn't have TV back then, but anyway. Yeah. There was a time in my life where I had no TV.
Anyway, so that's just everything that's been happening and how we still have to stay engaged. This is just the beginning of it. You know, I heard
I heard such an important point.
They were talking about. I heard this today. They were talking about what was going on in Chicago because they keep talking that if y'all come for our migrants, that we're not going to cooperate. And I'm thinking, okay, pick a city. Okay, Seattle, you're not going to cooperate. Where do you think you are going to get an exponential shot of migrants as soon as all this starts going down, because they're all going to run to your city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to
if you're announcing that you're not going to cooperate, you have just opened the floodgates.
That's right. And the American people are going to pay for it. And I heard Chicago fighting back on that because that clown,
whoever it is.
Let's be careful. Everybody knows who it is. So, but they were talking about we're not going to cooperate. And you're like, okay, you've got them locked up and you won't give them a must to get rid of them. We can talk about all the legalities and all of that stuff, but they were having.
And we're not talking about the families. That's what's killing me too. We're not talking about families. Oh, yeah. We're talking about criminals, bad people that belong in jails in other countries who they opened the jails and sent them here. They actually really did that.
Yep.
And Lake and Riley would be alive.
Yep. Yeah.
And not to mention all the other people in the families that have been shattered.
So
hi, and Joe and Johanna.
I'm going to get. I'm going to get these two out real quick.
I'm sorry, be quiet.
so because my brain's doing that.
Is it doing that funny thing at 300 blood sugar level?
Yeah. So, but in I think it was Chicago, the people were at like a city council meeting or whatever, and they were in an uproar, and they were like, you better not cross him. When he comes to get him, you better let him take him, or you're going to have to go through us. It was really kind of and it's just the American people saying enough. And the other thing I was going to, so we've got to stick with this. I think we do it constitutionally. We do it the right way, in spite of the fact of what's been done to the American people up until now. You can't, two wrongs don't make a right kind of thing. I think there needs to be accountability.
Absolutely.
But we have a short period of time to get things going in the right direction, and I think that needs to be our focus. The other stuff can be as it is. The other thing I was going to say was that story about how it's the Roosevelt. I don't know if I'm going to get us in trouble for saying that. The hotel that is housing all of these people is literally owned by, like, I think Iran. So all of this money is going. We pay the taxes. The taxes pay to cover non-citizens. I think I can say that, non-citizens, and then the people that they paid, which made all of the hotel rates go up for anyone trying to have a vacation, because they raised the hotel rate. All of that money is going to an open plan. So anyway, there's a lot on the plate, but I'll tell you what, he's got a team put together. Like with Pete, with Pete, I hear all of a sudden recruitment's up.
Right. The Army. Did you guys hear about that? The Army recruitment, as soon as he was elected and then it was really after Pete Hegseth was nominated. What was he nominated for? Secretary of Defense. Anyway, the numbers went through the roof on the Army recruitment. Yeah, I can't get the video to pull up.
The video is working on mine.
Is it working on yours? Okay, good. It's not working on mine. Anyway, so you handle the chat. The Army recruitment went up, and that was spooking me a little bit. When no one wants to sign up and be a soldier, and that's an argument you could research and get into as well. Which is better, volunteer army or a draft army? Why is a volunteer army not as good as a draft army? Because you end up with folks who really want to go hold a gun and be terrorist or whatever. And with a draft army, you get a mix of everybody. But we know what happened in the 60s, and subscription I just don't know. But I do know this, that when you have good people in leadership, it filters down, right? G.I. Jose, good people in leadership, no matter what organization it is, whether it's the military, education, any leadership is what it's all about. Sorry,
where was I going? You had just said something else. To me, I don't necessarily want to get in all that. There's a lot of things that are going to come out. I'm sure they'll come out with our new director of the FBI. They'll come out with some kind of.
Oh my gosh, has that started a storm or what?
I mean, it's just going to be one after another. And these guys have already proven that most of them that they'll weather the storm. But we've got to be behind them. So there's going to be a lot of holding our senators to accountability. And we've already sent some emails and stuff.
Voicing our opinion.
One of them that's a Texas one, he's been prominent in the news lately. Not a big fan of his.
Does he have an eye patch?
No. He's a congressman.
That's true. He's not a senator. Government senator.
But there's two, so
not hard to figure out which one.
And he doesn't have a Hispanic last name.
Okay.
So but we've watched for years as nothing gets done, and then we get one little shout out on Twitter that was something about, this is very unfair and we should do this. And I thought
people are so tired of that.
I'm like, that's all you got? You better come up with a lot more than that if you plan to be back again, because we have had it. Yeah. You're not going to be able to say, you know what, I really believe in a capitalist society and get away with it anymore. Quit being a part. If you're going to be a part of the problem or you're going to stand in the way, you can go. Everybody's seeing exactly who's voting and agreeing.
We have enough Wi-Fi to do the show.
Wait,
we're back. Happening. We're back. Something's happening. You know what, y'all? We wanted to do the show tonight and we wanted to say we're back, but obviously we're having Wi-Fi problems and we've got to get a roof mount and get our satellite up on the roof. Once we do that, this will be better. He'll get that done this week. I couldn't find the right one when I was looking, so he'll take care of it.
I'll get it done when I get the parts.
Yeah, when we get the it's true. That's true.
Don't put it on me yet because you haven't ordered the parts.
That's true. Well, I couldn't find it. Anyway, Anyway, it's just so good to be back. And yes, my knee's healing great. Gia Jose, thank you so much for asking about that. Joe and Johanna, y'all weren't here, but the show for 1119, I was going to read. I guess I can do it. We're back on. Are we back on?
We're on right now.
We're on now. So let me pull this up. Are you tired? You sound tired.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the shout out. We're not going to talk about that tonight. No,
but it's
everybody's
been
okay. It was not a bad hospital run. Everybody's okay. Everybody's
all
okay.
The results were good. So,
yeah. And it was not us.
A little scary, but not so much.
Yeah. Anyway, the word for today on the other, I don't know if this went through the other video or not, was Psalms 143:9. And I just love this. I want to write this one on my heart. Cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for in you I trust. Cause me to know the way in which I should walk, for I lift up my soul to you. Isn't that amazing? That's Psalms 143:9. That's New King James Version. And then the other thing we were going to talk about, and we might as well keep going since we're doing it. So we're so excited about the election. We were so excited about the nominees. There's only one that we're unsure of. And I've heard in lots of shows and chats that she might be okay. And of course, we're talking about Miss Nome. There is Luke. What's up, Luke? How's it going, man? Thanks for showing up, dude. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, Michigonians. He's you don't know him at all. He's the guy I was chatting with on Saturday.
But
he's an artist.
I got Michigan friends.
He's a Michigan guy. Yeah, near Ann Arbor.
We don't have many friends where we're at right now. But
now we're kind of out in the country.
A couple of them are
out in the country.
Good people, good service guy.
Yeah. Anyway, howdy, Luke. So we were talking about all these amazing things that have been happening. And so we feel like the whole country has shifted. There's been a shift in the entire cosmic picture, right?
It's been groovy, man.
Groovy, man. I like that. And I was gonna, my mom taught me to look up every word. She taught me to read very young. And she taught me to look up every word. If I didn't know a word and I went to her, Mom, what is this? And she was like, just kind of laugh at me. Go get the dictionary, look it up. And I'm so glad that she did that because it has really given me a love for language and the meanings, the hidden meanings in words that we take for granted and don't necessarily hang on to. But here's one for you: citizen, a native or naturalized person who owes allegiance to a government and is entitled to protection from it. How often do we think of our citizenship being not just an allegiance to the government, but in reciprocation, they will protect us, right? What am I paying my taxes for? Goodness gracious. A member of a state, an inhabitant of a city or town, civilian as distinguished. Now, this is going to be controversial. I'm not even going to say that one.
I thought of a controversial one. Everything's controversial right now.
Everything is controversial.
All the entertainment people that are leaving the country. Literally this time, but this time they're leaving. They're not just threatening. They're like, we got to.
They're already gone. What didn't it have something to do with somebody's list? I wouldn't say the name, but I think it's a list. Who's on the list? Oh my God, who's on the list?
Yeah, so that's it's going to be really interesting. Everything from the tapes from the 1960s to, just all the different things that they may just reveal, because just like Patel was saying, they were trying to get information from, like, I think it was the federal B.
Okay.
And everything was redacted. And he's like, this stuff doesn't have to be redacted.
Secrecy clauses that are so unnecessary now, and they just classify everything secret.
Why? He's like, you could literally release 50% of stuff that's been classified. It seems more like it's protection than classification.
Mm-hmm.
So,
as in CYA protection?
CSOA.
Okay, I'm not that smart.
Someone's
yeah. Cover someone.
Or is that S or is that SO?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's anyway, just all of the moving parts right now are very exciting, and we've got to stick together. And the amazing shift of people, because it's not like we see it now. All the people that have been, not all, some are lifelongers, and they're sold in and sold out, but so many people that who were just Democrat are like, not anymore. And the massive shift just from the statistics from the election.
And it's happened before. This is not the first time we've had a complete realignment of parties in this country.
Yeah.
Corrections. This is not the first time it's happened. It's a societal shift. Societies change. Cultures change.
And that's good. And that's what America is supposed to be about. But it only happens if the citizens are paying attention.
Correct.
And participate.
Well, what happens is we start getting super, super selfish. We start not paying attention, and we end up on a path towards suicide, societal suicide.
Isn't selfishness just like self-centeredness, like one of the most subtle evil things in the world? I mean,
that's a great question. Is it the most subtlest, evilest thing in the world? Selfishness. There's both sides to the argument. You have to be a little bit selfish to survive. You have to feed yourself. You have to clothe and shelter and all that kind of stuff. But selfishness,
but
where you're acting
when it's
solely
all about you,
I think that is pretty evil.
And I think we see a lot of that. And now we're hearing that their plan is to like double down and run Gavin or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
That's just. Y'all are completely missing the point of what's happening here. And so it's almost like we were talking about before, like mass mind control.
I thought I had some show notes here about conspiracy theory, and I was going to bring that up as part of our topics, but I don't have it here. I don't know what I did with it. So we have possibly Kash Patel becoming the FBI director, and he believes that there is way too much classified that should not be classified, that some of it's laziness and some of it is just flat out CYA.
Right.
And so the deep state is terrified, absolutely horrendously terrified.
Yeah. What is his name? McCabe or whatever. Hope I didn't get myself in trouble there. But.
Yeah, we're not saying names. So look, if you want to know what the heck is going on this channel, we started off all excited that we're back, but we're having Wi-Fi issues. And we don't know if we also get shut down right when we talk about something super controversial. So we don't know if that's a coincidence or a coinkydink, or if it's truly Wi-Fi issues.
We don't quite fall into the professional YouTube people.
Yeah, we're not even thinking about that. But
not
anyway,
to mention we say what we think anyhow. So by then it's like, oh,
too late to come out. Andrew McCabe, I think is who you were thinking of.
Oh, so you're gonna say the whole name?
I said it. Yeah. I said it.
Well,
I said it. Let's see. Are we still on?
He comes out and wants to start talking to just me, little old me, about what's right and what's wrong and who's good and who's bad. I'm like, you're just doing it again. This is like a whatever Muir,
But let's get to that underlying issue. Do you feel a shift in culture right now? Because I do. I was right. It's about the Jews were being persecuted again. They were going to be completely wiped out. God picked out Esther, put her in a position of power to save the Jews, and they were saved. And God and her uncle Mordecai told her when she said, "But why me? What? Not me, just little old me." And he said, "How do you not know that you were not born for such a time as this?
Right.
Specifically to save your people."
It's not little old you, it's God, and
it's
you get
God.
to be a part of it. So
exactly. So such a time as this. So I was raised that we're living in the last days towards the end of towards Revelation, and that Jesus was coming back. And he's coming back in my lifetime.
Everybody's been raised in that, but there's a lot of
ever since the late great Planet Earth by Hal Lindsey came out, and it became kind of mainstream.
And Israel getting its own homeland back.
Well, that was 48. Then the 6 Day War, and he published his book right after that. But the funny thing about that book is it was not written for the public; it was written for theologians. It was just another treatise on what was going on in the Middle East and the newspaper headlines and how it fit with Scripture. Anyway, so for such a time as this, I feel very strongly that we right now are in one of those shifts that something really big is happening, has happened. We've all witnessed it as of November 5th. And I think remember the 5th of November might take on a positive note rather than a parliament getting messed up in England a while back. But that this cultural shift has oh, honey, what you doing there? We're changing. Oh, baby, stop. What are you doing? Baby, stop. He's blinded. Blinded by the light.
I glanced at the screen and I'm like, man, I look like I'm drunk.
Well, your sugar's kind of high.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I was going with that. How do you guys feel about that in the chat? What do you think about the momentous shift we've had politically?
You know what here's what I think. Whatever the case may be, and I've heard this said in a few places, and it's how I feel. They have had us at odds for so long, just one against the other,
especially
just
since about
keeping
2012.
us at each other. This needs to be an open arms kind of open talk, not a we got you kind of thing, but more of a look at this, because look, I was going on, and I think there's a lot of people who are busy trying to rent, that just really were not as aware of this. And some people started getting me involved, and I started going, holy mackerel, and that's just all we're trying to do. And we saw a bunch of people. I mean, what kind of group of people would say, tell your parents that you can't see your grandkids because they voted on the, I mean,
that was tough.
For them to be pushing this kind of stuff, and I say them, I'm not talking about people who voted Democrat. I'm talking about the elite that are stoking this fire of hatred between people.
Well, think about what they have to gain. Right. So you see somebody misbehaving and you wonder, what's the motive? What is going on here? What's behind the scenes? What is actually happening? What's the other hand doing? What do they have to gain? The old saying, follow the money. What do the elite have to gain by stirring us up and pitting us against each other?
It's kind of like Satan. What does he have? I mean, what does he have to gain when he gets us distracted?
Well, he gains souls, right? I mean, that's that one. But what I'm getting at is when the elite pit us against each other, what do they gain? Society falls apart. We start tearing each other down. We begin to let society unravel, but they're up in their mansions with all their protection. We start eating each other.
We watch the network propaganda so we can try and get a feel for what's actually happening, which isn't even the truth and has been the lie after lie after lie for years.
And then they come and clean up when, after the WAR is over.
Right. And you've created,
but we're not fighting. We're not playing this time. We're so much more educated these days. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I think it's about us coming together. And, I'm serious. I heard somebody say, he's like, it's not like I just want a one party system. That sounds awful.
It sounds totalitarian.
But we had the whips. We had, whatever it takes to.
You're talking about whip up the vote?
No, then we have like the whips before the
Wigs.
The Whigs.
The Whig party.
The whips, the Whigs.
The Whig party.
They got whipped. But whatever it takes to get people to stir up enough to say, wait a second, this seems right, and I understand immigration, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't break down the system.
We shouldn't be paying for things that, just sitting back. I haven't been a vendor of contractors for the government. You can sit back and go, why are they spending that much money, for that? And that's just a sliver of nothing.
Well, but I tell you what, we were kind of talking some dark topics here, and it has been such a glorious couple of weeks, hasn't it? I've had my knee laid wide open, the joints manipulated around, the bones sawed on, the patella lifted out, put back. I have a scar this long.
What is wrong with
But I'm so grateful to have a new knee.
She's my hero.
So grateful to have a new knee. But so we're talking a little bit dark, but the last 3 weeks, other than my surgery, other than that pain, have just been amazing.
Yeah,
This
it's
we
been,
had,
it's
it's
hope.
what we've been
You feel hope,
Yes,
excitement,
hope. That's it. That
a,
is
a
it. We have
future.
hope.
I talked to so many. I was trying to talk to
Of course, our hope is really in Lord Jesus, but
when all this was going on. Like I'd be
he
going to the
definitely
I'd be
stepped
going
up.
to the car
Said he
wash,
would go.
and I was talking to this guy named Joel there, and I'm like, Joel, get out, get all your friends, go vote. You're not going to have a future if you don't go
He was a
vote.
young
I said, as
guy.
a matter of fact, I don't care if they like you or not. Get them to go vote because they're not going to have a future. And he was laughing. He goes, I agree. And then another young man who was working at the Chick-fil-A window, and I just took every chance I had. And I had people on the phone and they were laughing at me. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, why are you not doing this with me?
You're not the only one.
The plumber
So
guy that
many
came to
people
work
turned
on
out.
Mom,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm never going to be able to buy a home. And I'm like, look, he didn't understand. So I sent him a couple of YouTube links of how to, I said, get in there and just watch some of this stuff. You're not getting the truth.
Right,
You're
right.
getting
We're
an
not teaching.
agenda that keeps you down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people did that.
I do too.
And I think a lot of people stepped up, people that entire families. I mean, look at RFK, J,
RFKJ.
R5.
RFKJ.
Yeah.
Is the chat
and
going?
it's just like, it doesn't matter. I'm still helping them whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I'm helping them.